Hi everybody, so we're on to part 2 of the badger. As you can see, I have filled in all of the body. There we go. Apart from the eye and the nose area, which we're going to have a go at today. Now the eye, when you look at the pattern, the eye looks really complicated, but essentially it's not. So if you look at the colour pattern, basically all you've got is 1, 2, 3 bits. So all you need is an outside bit. I'm going to do that bit first. Then I'm going to cut another piece, and then that piece is just going to go on the top. So it's going to be layered up 3 bits. So it's not as complicated as it kind of looks when you look at the line drawing. The line drawing tends to make things look more complicated. That's why I always say to you, keep going back to the colour version, because it will make it it's not as complicated as the pattern kind of makes it look, if you see what I mean. Right, so it is small because I'm doing the small version. If you're struggling, then always do the bigger version. It's always much easier. So it's basically this piece around here. So that is one bit. That's the darkest bit, and then it's the bit inside there. And if you don't get exactly the same shape, it's not going to be the end of the world. And then inside that bit there is another smaller tiny bit, and I suggest you just cut out any old shape just to go in there. That'll be fine. It's only like a spot of light. So I've got a really dark black in comparison to all my other blacks because I want it to ping. What I haven't got is my scissors. Typically. There they are. Under all the piles of stuff that you can't see over the other side. Right, so just going to cut this out very simply, not difficult. Tiny speck of white on there, I don't know what that is. I don't really want it on there. There we go. So that's the first bit, and that's just going to sit in there. It's quite a thick fabric I've used there, so it will take a little bit of heating up to get it stuck down. There we go. So you see that's a nice dark black against the others. Right, and I want a sort of purpley kind of colour. Here's my next one. It's obviously the whole thing has got a purpley, black purpley feel to it. So I did find something. Yeah, here it is. So that's going to go next. Right, so that goes, just have a look underneath, see where it goes. Actually, I'll take the whole thing off and put it down like that. So that fits in. Like that. So it's going to hold it. we go. I'm going to put it back on again. It's going to take even longer now because it's even a bit thicker. And then I need a very pale bit to go as my spot of light, but I don't want white. So it does need to have enough colour to put this tiny little, that'll work perfectly, I think. And I'm not even going to bother to try and cut shape out. I'm just going to cut a random little shape, roughly the right shape and the right shirt size. And that goes sort of inside that bit. So see how it looks. Just want to make it slightly smaller, I think. It is a really tiny bit. Lost it. Where is it? Let me get me. This is a Twizzler job. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Now that's a bit fragile, so I'm just going to lay a piece of parchment paper over the top first. There we go. Perfect. And that's the eye done. We've got to fill in the bits around it, obviously. So let's do that. I've actually got that shape already drawn out on a piece of parchment paper, so we can go straight in with that. And I do want a bit of a gap around that, so I think I'm just going to trim this eye down a bit. It's just because I've used a thick fabric, it's just a bit fluffy around the edges, and it's just made it a bit big. I think that's still a bit too big, so let's just trim that down a little bit. And I want it more pointy at the end as well. That's better. I know sometimes these bits are very fiddly, but they do actually make the whole thing at the end. Those fiddly little bits do just bring the whole thing to life most of the time. Right, so let's finish that off all together around there. What should we use? It's this whole bit. Where does that come? That comes across there, up around there, and to there. So, sorry, I'm moving this, but I'm trying to lean over it all the time. Not very easy. So it's this whole bit in here. Doesn't have to be too accurate because I'm going to put it under the whole lot. And I'm going to use this. I do love these fabrics that have got really tight little ditzy patterns on them. They work so well with the collaging. Right, slightly tricky bit because we're going to pull this up, slot it under. So that's under there, and then I'm going to very gently prise the edge of this eye up. Don't really want the whole thing coming off again. Slot that all in. That's it. Perfect. And I'm again going to use a piece of parchment over there because it's just a fiddly little area. Don't want it moving too much. And you can see the bottom of my eye, it's not very clean either. So in order to be able to sort of give it a good press down, it means it's not going to make it dirty. There we go. Right. Then we want some more purple. Just want a tiny little slither of purple going through there. So I've got some bits that have cut off other pieces, other places. I think actually I could just fit that in. No, it's all, do it that way around. Just cut it a little bit more. That's it. And one more bit to go under all of that lot. Now, what shall I use? What I could do is I'm just going to lift it gently. That's a bit too much, I think. Something in between. Or use a paler bit of that. Perhaps that'll work. Yes, that's better. Right, so let's draw around that area. Now I am going to have to lift the eye, but it's quite well attached to other things now, so it should be fine. There we go. That's great. like that. Let's just bring it up so you can have a good look. There we go. Work out where we were. Back there, weren't we? Yeah. Right, so nose next. Okay, so I have already cut out this piece that runs in here, which is this bit, and I want this edge to be on the top and this edge to be underneath, so I'm just going to have to try and manipulate it around a bit. Work out where it's got to go. So that's going underneath. Go over the top of that bit. Sure, I haven't quite cut that big enough. By the looks of it. So what I will do, not far off. Got a slight gap in there, but I can just put a little piece in behind that won't notice. So if I peel it up, you can see I've just got slight gaps in there, but I can just slot something in behind. Same colour, same fabric, just block up the hole basically, and you won't notice. By the time it's all stitched up, you just will not notice that. And the same on the other side. There are always ways around things. There we go. Right, so let's crack on with this nose. So this bit that runs through here is my very dark bit, so I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to use the same fabric that I used for this eye. It's very dark. It is a bit thick, but it's got this really dark black. When you want those little things just to pop out a bit. Right. So that fits in really nicely. Just hold it down for a minute. There we go. And then I'm going to do the next biggest piece, which is this top piece that runs right the way over the nose. And then I want a pale grey for that. Sure, I can pick a bit of pale from this. It's just moved under my hands. Just move it back again. So just cut that off. That's it. It's nicely fitting in there. So get a little bit darker grey next on this bit that's here. In fact, I'm going to just put it right behind all those bits so that, yeah. Right, so what have we got? Got that, but I've used that there. I wonder about using that again. No, it's a bit too light. Let me have a look through my purple drawer, or my grey drawer. That's not bad. Quite like that. It's a bit different. Let's go with that. Yeah, I quite like that. And then the last bit is a paley pinky colour. which I've got this bit of fabric which I think will work in there if I've got enough of it. It's just a bit purpley. Got a bit of stuff on the outside. Plenty big enough. Actually, it doesn't stand out enough, so I'm not going to use it. I think I need a pink, real pink, proper pink. Oh, there's that. How does that work? That's not bad. And we got, that's better. That is better, isn't it? Darker? No. Go with that one, I think. Just need to cut a bit more over there. Still more. Yep, it's fine. I like that. And then I need that same colour, looking at my plan, looking at my colour version, I've got purpley bit that runs here, and then this bit that runs all the way down here is that same colour. So do I cut that bit out, or do I cut all the other bits out and then just plonk a bit behind? I think I'll put a bit behind because that's quite a thick fabric. So we'll just draw these out so that you can see where we're kind of going with it. So I need just a purpley bit in here. And I think I might go with that actually, because I've used it somewhere else and I do like to use them at least once more, so they're not just an isolated piece. I mean, it happens occasionally, but I do quite like to make sure that it repeats somewhere else within the pattern. It's a bit of a fiddly little bit. That's it. Okay, and then we want something a bit darker here, still in those purpley tones. So I think we'll go back to this sort of colour, but I've just got to find it. There it is. Although saying that, no, that's all right, yeah. Mind works 10 to a dozen. I hope you can hear me all right. I'm not really very sure how loud my voice is. I'm having a problem with my hearing at the moment. And everything sounds like it's underwater, so it's a little bit difficult for me to gauge. I'm trying to just speak at my normal level, but I'm at some stage I'm going to forget what my normal level is. Loud and shouty, probably. Right. Right. The same bit under here as well. Should have done that at the same time. Oops. Now I've dropped it. We'll work out which side is which now. That looks like a sticky side. It's a small bit, I'll put a bit of Hooray! And I need just to fill it in. That bit. But don't want it to be as wide as that. I want it to be much thinner there, so that bit that I put behind stands out. And I'm going to use this. Something sticking on there that I don't want. Right, so this is going to go under here. And then I wanted that same pinky colour just to fill that last area in. I haven't got a lot left. Not that very pale stuff. Let's see, that's not bad. That might work in there. Just cut that out. Let's see if we've got enough of it. Yeah, plenty. Just want that grey to stick to the top so that it all stays together. Let's just pop it in at the top there. Doesn't want to, might have to put that on after. Let's just open this up. Oh, and that triangle purple was on its own as well, so that's going to have to come up. So I need that sort of angle. Oh, you know, it's just going to be easier, quicker to just draw it out. I thought I'd be just able to slot it behind, but I don't think so. Work out which is which. So it's that bit. Right. We get away with not cutting those bits out. So that goes in there. Should do, please. Yeah, that does fit in there. That bit back on. And that just slot that little bit in. Right, and that's the nose area all done. I'm just going to finish that bit off, and then I'm going to do the background because the background is pretty easy. There's nothing really to test you on there. It's a fairly simple, abstractive sort of background with the moon and stuff. And then we'll come back to the sewing. So bye for now.